Hello and welcome to this presentation about how to create a network learning space or NLS using Google Communities. My name is MourouvapinS and this videocast is designed to help you create and moderate a Google community. Here's what we will be covering in today's session. There are so many choices today, and any network site can help you establish a well-rounded learning space. Some of the more popular ones are Facebook, Pinterest, and Google Communities. But here are a couple of others that can work well. There's Edmodo that is popular among K-12 teachers, LinkedIn group that offers many features as well. Before choosing, you want to do a little research so that you can decide which network sites works best for you. I personally put in a lot of time in doing my research, and finally I decided to go with Google Plus Communities. Later on, I will show you the community I created for my professional use. So what I have done in this videocast is I use Snagit, a TextMate tool to capture images of my screen and use the Snagit editor to make the features more prominent. You will see what I mean by this later on. So here's what I will be doing. First, I will talk about the uses of learning spaces and their different components. Secondly, we will look at the process of creating our own NLS using Google Communities. And finally, I will show you my community that I created as an example. I'm hoping that this will bring everything together and you will be able to better understand the features I show you. Okay, so let's begin with the definition of what an NLS is. According to the International Society for Technology in Education, the ISTE, the learning spaces networks are spaces that promote the gathering and sharing of information, research, and ideas related to learning space design principles. And number two, the network also offers resources and research on best practices in learning space design, a community of practice related to design thinking and innovative learning spaces, and outreach and advocacy to raise awareness about the importance of design thinking. But for the purpose of this presentation, we will mainly deal with the first point, that is network spaces to promote the gathering and sharing of information, research, and ideas related to learning space and design principles. So what do I mean when I talk about components of NLS? Well, there are different components that make learning spaces useful to professionals. Depending on one's needs, the NLS can be used for connecting, notifying, teaching, and curating, which means gathering resources from different websites and putting them all in one place. This can be very useful when you use your learning space with a small group of people. They will be able to find all the resources they need to gain knowledge about a topic without having to look for information all over the web. Let me explain what the components mean by taking Facebook as an example. Teachers can use Facebook apps like flashcards and WeRead to make learning easier and more enjoyable. Teachers can engage their students by asking them to vote or answer a question posted on their page. By posting news and status updates to your feed, you can notify other members in your group about what is happening around them, what the trends are, and anything that pertains to a topic of interest or a common topic of interest. And then you can use the message feature and you can connect with the instructors as well as with other learners. And learners and teachers can create Facebook page to discuss about a topic of interest and curate resources for a project. So as you can see, there are numerous ways to use social media to create a learning space and reap its benefits. So, I have laid out the basics about various networking sites available to you, like Facebook, Pinterest, or Quora, and Edmodo, etc. And as I mentioned earlier, playing around with various sites will give you a better idea of what you need and how you will be using them. That is, if you will use your space for teaching or connecting with people or curating resources for your group members and or yourself. So now let's take a look at how to create a community using Google+. All you need is a Google account. If you do not have an account, signing up for one is very easy. Assuming that you have an account, well, let's proceed. When you open your Google page, on the right hand side top corner, you will have your name and a plus sign as the arrow here indicates. Click on that. Earlier in this presentation, remember I told you about the Snagit tool from TechSmith. At this page, I actually use Snagit to do some neat arrows and pointers, etc. I hope it is useful for you. Um, so you will land, well, after you click on the plus sign, you will land on your Google Plus page. On the left hand side, choose Communities from the drop down menu under Home. So right there you have on the blue button that says Create Community. I have circled it in green and made a pointy arrow, and this is where you start creating your community. Just click on Create Community and you're ready to go. So once you clicked on the community, create community button, these options will pop up. First, you give a name to your community, for example, photography 101, sorry, iPad apps, so on and so forth, whatever the topic you choose to create your learning space. At this point, you should also decide whether to make your community public, um, and as you can see, there are like two choices where people need to need permission to join. You can choose no, anyone can join, or yes, they need require permission, in which case you will be notified that somebody is trying to um, participate in your group, or join your group, etc. Or you can simply make it private, and which means you can invite only certain members, and only certain members can be participating in your group. So that these are two choices, public and private, and this is the time when you actually start to think about the privacy issues and decide early on, because you cannot go back and change or change it to private. So make sure you know the consequences of what the requirements, what your needs are before you decide to go public or to go private. So once you're done with setting your privacy, you will be able to preview your community. Notice you have the option to invite anyone by using their email addresses. Just click on send and voila, you are ready to begin. See, a couple of seconds ago, I was talking about the gear icon, and this is where you will land when you press the gear icon, and you will give a name to your network, your community. You can add a tagline, you can pick a photo or anything um, that is relevant to the topic. And as you can see, under all posts, you have discussion. That is one category. I told you about here's where you can add category. You can click on the add category button and and create as many categories as you want. For example, let's say your space is about photography, right? So you can add categories like basic users, intermediate users, advanced users, etc., and add resources for each group of photographers, like any one who's just starting, who's just a basic user of any camera. He's just entering the field of photography, then he will go to the basic user category and just start absorbing whatever information is out there. And then as he progresses, or as he gets used to the idea of reading and doing his research, he can move on to intermediate user or advanced user. And you get the idea, right? So that's what is really great about this, is you can add as many categories, and keep on adding to it until you think like, okay, you can never cover the whole um, uh, field of photography, but you can um, um, kind of make room for little things, or huge things that are important or that are less important, etc. And under add category, as you can see, there's about this community. This is where you will add information about your community, your goals, why you have chosen this topic, or why you have created this community, etc. So here is my learning space. As you can see, it is relatively new, and I do not have many members yet. As you can see, at the bottom part, it says members, and it says 5 members, and I just created this site, so space. So I intend to promote my analyst using Twitter, Pinterest, and LinkedIn, among others, Facebook maybe. And this is an important part in maintaining your learning space, like, letting people know that you're doing something useful, and inviting others to join and participate. After all, you have put so much effort and time into gathering all these resources, and it will be a shame to let go, after just posting a couple of posts and then not doing anything. So you can see, as you can see, it says owner beside my name. This is because I created the community and I will be the only one moderating it. So, and you remember I talked about adding categories a few slides back. Here you can see I have different categories that allow the participants to look for information they are interested in. For example, I have a discussion category where people can get together and discuss about strategies that they use in class, strategies that were helpful, that were successful, and strategies that were not as successful as others. So, and general resources, this category, I have resources like websites and links and lesson plans and everything that an instructor would need to start. Now, this is not. This is just a basic uh, curation space, let's say, and they will find mainly articles to make them, comfortable with the idea of flipping their classroom. And then comes the French resources. These are for the French instructors. The links are in French, and this is from all francophone world, and the videos are in French, and and many other flippers, as they call. They have provided many videos as an example of how they do, how they flip their classrooms. And then the next category is free tools to flip. So these are like open source tools, like um, you know, Prezi or PowerPoint, not PowerPoint, Open Office, um, uh, anything that people that beginners are comfortable with, not the mega big guys like Captivate um, or Lectora, etc. So, and the next one is the iPad, iPhone apps. These I found some pretty cool apps that can be used to flip the classroom, French or otherwise. So that's a nice thing to know. And then finally, I have some paid tools to flip. These are again little apps that cost not more than $3 or $4 from iTunes stores or um, uh, or from private vendors. So number three, as you can see, I have added video. This is one of the videos I added, and there's so much out there, and you can add videos. And number four, as you can see, it's for a talk from TED-Ed, and I've given the website TED-Ed, edted.com. And then number five is, well, I added a picture. Actually, this is an infograph about tips, as you can see. And then finally, I can write about my personal experiences with any kind of tools that I have used in class to as to teach, or uh, any other group member has something interesting to add. You can actually write in that area. So these are some pretty nice things that you can do in a learning space. And as I said, I just started it, so I am adding resources regularly and keeping my learning space updated for now. So we have finished with part one, the various sites available to create learning space. And number two, part two, we talked a little bit about the four components of a learning space. And then I gave you an example using my own NLS, where I have used that NLS as a curating space. I have several resources, and I showed you how to start a community using Google Plus. And I hope this presentation inspires you to create your own personal learning space using Google Plus or any other tool you like. And before we leave, here are some final thoughts about NLS in general. It takes a great deal of research and effort and time to create a space that can be beneficial for you and for your peers. So the success of your NLS depends on how you maintain the community. You should think about updating content regularly, participate in discussions in your community, engage the participants by encouraging them, and above all, promoting your community using other social media. So this is the end of my presentation, and thank you for your patience. And I hope the information I gave is useful, and thank you for your patience. And if you have any questions or comments about this presentation, please email me, and you can see my email on the screen, sham74us@hotmail.com. I will be more than happy to answer any questions or comments you have, and we can have a good dialogue. So happy networking, and thanks again for watching.